Sharijati Bhutani Bhagavan Atmamaya Esham Bandham Cha Moksham Cha Sukham Dukam Cha Nishkalaham Ekasrijati Bhutani Bhagavanatmamaya Esham Bandham Cha Moksham Cha Sukham Dukam Cha Nishkalaham Ekasrijati Bhutani Bhagavanatmamaya Esham Bandham Cha Moksham Cha Sukham Dukam Cha Nishkalaham
Ekasrijati Bhutani
Bhagavanatmamaya
Esham Bandham Cha Moksham Cha Sukham Dukam Cha Nishkalaham
Ekasrijati Bhutani
Bhagavanatmamaya Esham Bandham Cha Moksham Cha Sukham Dukam Cha Nishkalaham
Ekasrijati Bhutani
Bhagavanatmamaya
Esham Bandham Cha Moksham Cha Sukham Dukam Cha Nishkalaham
Ekaha One Sharijati creates Bhutani
different varieties
of living entities Bhagavan
Supreme Personality of Godhead
the Supreme Personality of God
Atmamaya
by His personal potencies Esham
of all the conditioned souls
Bandham
the conditional life
Cha
and Moksham the liberated life Cha also Sukham happiness Dukam distresses Cha and Nishkalaha not affected by material qualities. Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is one, unaffected by the conditions of the material world. He creates all the conditioned souls by His own personal potency. Because of being contaminated by the material energy, the living entity is put into ignorance and thus into different conditions of bondage. Sometimes, by knowledge, the living entity is given liberation. In Sattva Guna and Raja Guna, he is subjected to happiness and distress. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The question may be raised why the living entities are situated in different conditions and who has arranged this. The answer is that it has been done by the Supreme Personality of Godhead without anyone's help. The Lord has His own energies, Parasya Shakti Vidhaiva Shruyate. And one of them, namely the external energy, creates the material world and the varieties of happiness and distress for the conditioned souls under the supervision of the Lord. The material world consists of three modes of material nature, Sattva-gun, Rajagun and Tamagun. By Sattva-gun, the Lord maintains the material world. By Rajagun, He creates it, and by Tamagun, He annihilates it. After the varieties of living entities are created, they are subject to happiness and distress according to their association. When they are in Sattva-gun, the mode of goodness, they feel happiness. When in Rajagun, they are distressed. And then in Tamagun, they have no sense of what to do or what is right and wrong. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Tinamane Namaste Saraswati Devam Guravani Pracharya Nirvishesha Srinivai Pashkati The Supreme Personality of Godhead is one. Unaffected by the conditions of the material world, He creates all the conditioned souls by His own personal potency. Because of being contaminated by material energy, the living entity is put into ignorance and thus into different conditions of bondage. Sometimes, by knowledge, the living entity is given liberation. In Sattva Gun and Rajagun, he is subjected to happiness and distress. So here again, scientific is described in a scientific way. That to know means to know one's level of conditioning and to know the mechanism which is putting us into this conditioning. Once again, this is not because God likes to play games with us, to put us in various conditions. That's because we want to be in that condition. He is simply a facilitator. God is so kind that He just puts us in a condition where we want to be. There are even countries where the rule is lived by, ignorance is bliss. People try to forget. Krishna gives such an environment and such a body even that we can forget completely. We don't know who we are, we don't know how we were created, we don't know anything. Human form is still a problem. Therefore people reach out for intoxication because it still generates so much awareness. But there are other bodies, which are not really, the problem doesn't exist. You simply don't know. We sometimes forget what it means, really, to not to know. Not to know, you talk to somebody and he doesn't understand anything. That Prabhupada sometimes had a very simple, description to that. He just said, we can talk. People have ears, but between the ears and under the head, Prabhupada called simply cow dung. There is no substance which can receive that knowledge. Even the sound is arriving. There is nothing to work with. No brain. Therefore Prabhupada was upset when this movement was accused to brainwash people. He was not upset about the brainwashing. He said, this is a wrong statement. There is nothing to wash. He said, we cannot be brainwashed because there is nothing to wash. So first we give brain, and then we wash. So this is a brain-giving movement. So ignorance is very dangerous, because out of ignorance you can do anything. Most actually, the destruction, evilness, and all these very, very detrimental activities we see around us are based on ignorance. Not on intention. Even, there are, when you look in the history of mankind, some of the worst atrocities and the worst things happen to the people, they're done with the best intentions. You ask any of these dictators, any of these monstrous people who are just ordering killing of millions and millions, they had the best intention. They felt that I'm the facilitator, I'm the savior even. I'm even I'm helping people. But of course, in order to help these people, I have to kill these people. And then it starts. So, we have nothing against killing, actually. But even that is to be done with the entire knowledge. What is to be done and what is not to be done. And where do we get that knowledge? Certainly not from us. You cannot generate, when you are in ignorance, knowledge. Therefore, empiric knowledge, I see, I observe, and therefore I conclude, it's not relevant in Krishna consciousness. This doesn't work. Then somebody says, well, then I have to accept blindly. Yeah, if you are really stupid, better you do so. Better you accept blindly as to speculate. Who knows what will come out of your brain? There's even whole religions for that. Muslim religion is based on that principle. It's taught for people who should not worship God in a personal form. Because they will immediately conclude, I will imagine something, that I think is God. So better you don't imagine anything, and better you don't accept God. We spoke about Buddha, and this was a typical approach. He discouraged people even to accept soul and think further about spiritual life, because they would immediately speculate, immediately imagine things. Oh yeah, it could be like this. Oh yeah, it could be like that. It's very difficult not to speculate. We were trained to that. We were trained by our education, by the environment we grew up. Think. I am, and therefore I think. I think, therefore I am. So I'm French philosopher, so-called philosopher said that. I'm thinking. Well, big discovery. Even a dog is thinking. He's definitely thinking. He's not a philosopher. He just thinks, where's the bone? There's intelligence amongst animals, which is amazing. There's intelligence, there's thinking, there's even memory. There are very refined emotions taking place. Everything is there, but limited to that size of body. So human form gives us actually the possibility to raise above that platform and think, what's the use of my speculation? What can I come up with? And I always discover, when you think you are free and you can really imagine things, then anyway you have to quote somebody. You have to follow somebody and you have to quote somebody. You must. Prabhupada gave the example of another so-called philosopher who said, you shouldn't read even books. You cannot define spiritual life in words. It certainly cannot be written down on paper. So don't read any books. Just meditate about it. But he wrote many books about it. And he also said, don't follow any leader. Be free. Well, if you follow him, then you follow a leader, isn't it? A leader who told you not to follow a leader. So we must have a leader. We must have, and we must repeat, we must quote. Sometimes people worry, you quote all the time. Don't you have a thinking on your own? What do you think about it? What do I think about it? I don't know. What should I think about it? Well, what do you think how God is unaffected by the condition in the material world? What do I know about that? I know that he is unaffected because otherwise he wouldn't be God. That's logic. What's the use of a God who is affected by his own creation? That's what we are. Shakespeare once said nicely, he said, beware of the ghosts you provoked. That means we can see it amongst writers and so-called intellectuals all the time. They speculate and they surround themselves with all kinds of mental structures, how it would be, and they imagine and they write it all down and they think about it and they expand and they take other one's speculation and they also think about this until they become completely mad. I had my hero, maybe you don't know, Hermann Hesse? Hermann Hesse, never heard the name? Oh, that was the hero of the 60s, and he was partially also the hero of the hippies. He was by that time already quite old man, but he was the one at the turn of the century or a little bit further who brought the Eastern knowledge to the West. He was very interested in Bhagavad Gita and he believed in reincarnation and all this, and he mushed it up into his works. There is one word, his famous work is Siddhartha. Siddhartha is the story of two friends. One became monk, one became a sense enjoyer. And he learned through frustration, through sense enjoyment. And he learned how valuable the sense enjoyment is through being a monk. And at the end they met and they realized all paths are the same. You don't have to become a monk. Just go out there and enjoy. That's also a way to receive knowledge. It's all one and the same. Whatever you do, you will learn. Certainly you will advance in spiritual path. It was very popular, This philosophy is very popular until today. It doesn't matter what you read. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter what you speculate. We all come to the same path. Finally we achieve the level of enlightenment. It's very comfortable. I can take now a hammer here and hit myself on the head for half an hour and think, I'm getting more and more enlightened. There will be a certain enlightenment, definitely. It's the same thing like reading Srimad Bhagavatam. There's no difference. There's the first, actually at the turn of the 20th century, the first gurus arrived from India and the West, and they were teaching this. All paths are the same. People are going, that's nice. I mean, I can just sit here in New York and do any nonsense, and yes, all paths are the same. Come, follow me, I will teach you how all paths are the same. You know, that sounds great. I can do any damn thing and I make spiritual advancement. Maybe I become even God. You know, well, the whole idea to become God, you know, God is actually God. He doesn't have to become. You have to learn how to be God. God has to go to school and learn how to become God or what? What kind of God is this? It's already defeated the idea right in the beginning. Therefore, he stated that God is, you know, above the conditions of the material world. He is putting the living entities into different conditions of bondage. You want to be really dull and not knowing much, nothing, please be my guest. Do that. Or you want to actually exhibit some desire, some, you know, something passionate. I want to get this, I want to get this, I want to get that. Yes. He gives you the inspiration. He gives you even the belief, the faith. It's coming from the heart. I believe, I believe in this. This is it. This is it. You know, how many people went, you know, to hell like this? Always some dictator comes up and they go, that's the chosen one. Yeah, I believe it. I. And what a strength, what a faith. It's superhuman. You cannot be so profoundly stupid on your own. Krishna will help you. You want to be really stupid, you will be so geniusly stupid. You will really believe it. And you will go for it. Until you, of course, get destroyed. That's the price to be paid for one's own stupidity. You will cause pain to yourself and you will cause pain to others. So this is a stupidity eliminating movement. You know, it's like we saw on a Swedish website, you know, Hare Krishna Swedish website, you find advertisement. There's also advertisement, yes. One devotee produced somewhat in a very simple graphics, a lady, you know, who is reading Bhagavad Gita, and underneath, in exactly the same fashion, like a warning for smoking cigarettes, you know, this black frame, you know. What was this exactly?
Warning, reading might be severely harmful to your ignorance.
Yes. So we are very harmful to the ignorance. And people who want to stay ignorant, when they don't come close to this movement, it's very dangerous. Because you will start to know things. And when you know, it's not going to be so easy to forget. So when you want to be really covered and you really do something sinful with no regret, no conscience, it's called conscience, you know, then don't read Bhagavad Gita. And don't talk to devotees. And don't chant Hare Krishna. Don't do that. Because that will raise your conscience. Like suddenly you realized, I'm eating somebody. Oh. People don't know that. They just go in a shop, buy a piece of meat and going, you know. They don't know there's a piece of somebody, and that somebody was not very happy when you killed him. Then you go to the most of the people and tell them, here, you are hungry, here's a knife, or here's a gun, go and kill your food. Go in a field and there is a rabbit running, you know. Yeah, do that. Cut the throat, take the skin off, you know. Most of the people think, why should I do this? But because it's served in such an illusory form, they think this is food. No. This is one of the reasons actually why we are vegetarians, but vegetarianism is actually not our primary task. We are vegetarians because Krishna says that whatever you eat, offer it to me. And he says exactly what he wants. A glass of water, a leaf, means also vegetable, and the flower. I will be very happy with such an offering. He doesn't say anything about sausages, beer, and you know. And so we don't do that. That's only. Otherwise, if Krishna would say, "I like sausage," we will be sausages all over the place. We don't care, but he doesn't say it, and it's common sense. Because in this way, actually, you can obtain food, which we call in an unoffered state, bhoga. You can get very easily. You don't have to chase potatoes on a field, but you have to chase rabbits. You cannot go, you don't need a gun to get a potato, but you need a gun to get a rabbit. Hey, there's a potato running, it would be very difficult. But the potato is already there. It's just a rotting root of a plant. You just pick it up. There's an apple already hanging, it's soon going to fall on your head. But just pick it up. You don't kill the tree. Nothing. There's things completely naturally already available. Why not just take that and do that? The cow is walking, in the field, producing milk. And you just get the milk. And that's it. You know what happens to a cow when you don't take the milk? It's very painful for them. So, of course they stop producing eventually milk. That's also a solution to that. Anyway, I know it's a controversial issue nowadays in the times of vegans. We don't mind vegan either. Okay, you say, I am vegan, I don't eat. Then just be vegan. The major thing is you don't kill anything in anybody. Krishna is, he may accept even some vegan preparation, but Krishna is not a vegan. No. Krishna is not a vegan. Sorry. There is nowhere mentioned here that this sage was vegan. Krishna says it is like that. Actually, Krishna is highly, highly appreciating milk and milk products. So that's the reason why we do that. Otherwise, we wouldn't do that. If Krishna would appreciate, liquor, then we just make liquor all the time. We will be the biggest liquor producers. But he doesn't say that. So we don't do that. This is the logic of a devotee. Anything what we do, even the ceremonies, which maybe for you as a new, maybe a little bit mystical, there's this fire, and they do something with the water, and then I have to go there and drink some mystic liquid by messing up my hand, and I have to wash it, and where shall I dry it? This is a very simple way to dry a hand like this. You go like this. That's it. But it should be washed. And there's a leaf swimming inside. What is the leaf doing in the leaf swimming in the milk? What is this? And it tastes very special, that leaf, when you chew on it. It's called tulasi. Why do we worship such a plant? Because it's very dear to Krishna. Simple. Krishna likes this plant called tulasi. Which is not so common in the West, but Krishna likes that. So we like it too. Why do we dress like this? Not very practical all the time. You fall over this and it's blowing wind underneath and you get stuck with it, and why? Because Krishna likes it. Because he thinks this is how my devotee looks like actually. So we do that.
What looks like?
Huh? The dress.
Oh.
Yeah. Why do we dress like that?
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't mean that when I change the dress, I stop being a devotee. It's just dress. But we like to do things as much as possible as Krishna likes, to see them and help them. It's very simple. The offering we do, the plate you see there, we, during the ceremony, we offer flame. Krishna likes that fire is offered to him. Fire offerings are in all kinds of cultures. We always offer things in a fire, because the fire consumes the offering and transports this to higher regions. Therefore, was always fire offering. Even in very, very primitive, basic cultures, some aborigines and this, they also have a fire sacrifice. You consume the fire, consuming the offering and sending it upwards or whatever they thought what it does. No, we have a very practical, we can ask any of these pujaris who are serving on altar, they can describe to you. Why do we offer this kind of conch with water inside? We bathe Krishna. And then we have handkerchief, we dry him up. Well, that's what you do every day too. First you wash yourself and you dry yourself up. It's very practical. Everything what we do has actually a reason. There is nothing mystical or unreasonable about Krishna consciousness. So we can follow. Similarly, here is described how God is unattached to this material world and how he puts us in various states of consciousness. It's consciousness. According to the consciousness, we get the body. So in every body there is consciousness. Living body means there is consciousness. And that consciousness, because we think, feel, and want like this, we need a form to it, to act it out. So these bodies are nothing else as tools to act our desires. People don't know that. They just follow the dictate of the body. Here, helplessly, just being transported through a whole life, not asking one question. How did I get into this? Why is happiness coming and distress? There will be some happiness. Even when you sit in jail, there is some happiness. There will be some moments you will be happy. And there will be some moments you will be very distressed. How is this coming? Because that's a part of the mechanism we are living in. It's just arranged this way. Even when you sit here now and you don't do anything, you just sit. Suddenly you will be kind of happy throughout the day, and suddenly you will be kind of more distressed throughout the day. How come? Because it's coming and going, coming and going. It's connected to this body. Sometimes we are happy, in an extreme case it's called manodepressive. That means actually you are extremely inspired. There's people who are sick like this. It's a disease, actually. They are extremely inspired and they're very often genius people. They do things, wow, everybody thinks, wow. And the next day, they say like, I'm going to kill myself. There's no use to this. Just, actually I never understood really the meaning of depression, because actually we don't have this in Krishna consciousness. There's no depressed devotee. This is a concoction, mental state. We try not to be mental, not following the dictate of the mind. So depressed, what depressed? I heard this is such a horrible disease that actually you really wish you wouldn't exist. You just sit there. I met few really sick people in this regard. They come even to Krishna consciousness, of course. We have all kinds of people coming. And when they get into the depressive state, it's unbelievable. You have no even desire to eat, which is like one of the basic instincts to survive. You don't want that. They describe this to me like an incredible internal pain, where you just don't want to do anything. You don't want to be. This is hard to imagine for a normal being, that you don't want to be. But, sometimes people misunderstand that spiritual life is like that. It's like finished. I had so much frustration in this world, so now I don't want to be, therefore I will chant Hare Krishna and forget the whole thing. It's not like this at all. It's actually horrible. If you want to forget the whole thing, don't chant Hare Krishna. Because when you chant Hare Krishna, it will make you more aware of things. Your consciousness will be raised, that you become more and more conscious, not unconscious. Spiritual life is not about unconsciousness. Then you can become a Buddhist, that's really good. You just think it's all illusion, it's nothing. I will become nothing. Somehow, whether by chance, I came into this existence like form, and then when I die, the whole form will be dissolved, and I'm finished. Can you imagine you think like this? Can you imagine you see other people like that? This is just accidentally collected forms. They don't mean anything. So they will be dissolved again. They give the example, it's like clay. You take earth and make some clay and you put some house. Then it's raining and the clay is dissolving again. It becomes again clay. This seems very nice. That means life doesn't mean actually anything. Love, hatred, striving for some result. What's the use? It's all a temporary, accidentally collected. In our circles there's a joke circulating. Dalai Lama receiving a present for Christmas. And he opens the box, he looks inside and goes, "Wonderful!